remember what goes where. So rather than having to memorize the innervation for all 500 muscles in the forearm,
So if I do this,
Um,
C5, C6.
if you just group them by nerve, it makes life simpler. It's going to be both by location as well as by nerve. So in a sense, if you get a grasp of the innervation, of the nervous branching, this is easier to hold on to.
T, this is view up position.
So off of C7 in the posterior, we have the radial nerve. Radial nerve is going to give us triceps as well as forearm extensors, wrist extensors. Ulnar nerve is going to be the C8 T1 root down here, which is going to be most of the intrinsics in the hand. And then if you kind of look sideways, this forms the letter M. Hey, tricky. That's the median nerve. Tricky.
I don't see it.
Median nerve is going to be most of the wrist flexors. Except for one. So we turn that into that. Or that into that. The orange one is axillary. A-X-I-L-L-A-R-Y. Services the deltoid.
What's the nerve between the two bones in the elbow?
This one here is your ulnar nerve. Your funny bone? That's the ulnar nerve.
I was wondering.
All right.
Pretty easy to put it. Why is
All right, so back to dermatomes. Dermatomes. C3 is majority of the neck. C4 is more shoulder. So if you're going to do an eval, and we'll do this again when we go over the lab, but it's going to be C4 comes through here, 5 goes over deltoid, and again, stay in anatomical position. Anatomical position is this way so that the radius and the ulna don't cross. You pronate and they roll over each other like that, and hands out, thumb lateral, leaves them space between. So 4 is through here, 5 is over deltoids, 6 is the lateral forearm, C7 goes up the middle to the middle finger, C8 is the medial forearm, and then T1 goes up into the axilla, under the inside of the upper arm. So 4, 5, 6, C7, C8, and T1. And remember, on palpation, you're looking for light touch as well as deep pressure.
What was 7?
7's the middle finger. That one.
What was 1?
1?
Yeah. No, T1, sorry.
T1. Oh, T1 goes on the inside outer finger.
Until the breakup.
Yeah.
Would never intentionally do that. All right.
Break. I know it does to what, but that's to what.
Bigger. Yeah. Okay, bony landmarks. Elbows are a little tricky. They don't need to be, they just kind of are. And it's just because there's a lot of words on this sheet, on this page. And that's what makes them tricky. So there's a lot of little landmarks to go around. So the humerus, coming down, gives rise to the trochlea and the capitulum. capitulum is lateral, the trochlea is medial in an anatomical position. And even if it's rotated, pronated, it doesn't change. So, all right, so trochlea is medial. Now, off of the ulna, we have this huge olecranon process. This is the tip of your elbow. So it's kind of a hook that comes in, making this very much a ball and socket. A hinge, sorry, hinge. That's not a hinge. So this creates the backside of the hinge that stabilizes it. Now you have the trochlear notch, which, what do you know, actually services the trochlea here. The capitulum is rounded off, and it articulates with the head of the radius, which is more of just a flat disc shape. So the elbow, the primary elbow joint, as far as flexion extension, is really created with the humerus into the ulna. The radius is more of an accessory that assists, that creates the pronation supination motion. Off the medial side of the ulna, we have a little bump that sticks up right through here called the coronoid process. So again, your ulna kind of makes a shape like this, to where the olecranon comes in for the bulk of the back of the hand, making a trochlear notch on the inside curve of your hand. And then you've got this coronoid process which deepens the socket and helps give stability. So you can imagine that if you ever have a dislocation, it's going to cleave off that coronoid process and be a little uncomfortable. On the radius, we have the tuberosity of the radius. Can anybody give me a guess as to what that's there for?
Attachment?
Huh?
Muscle attachment?
Muscle attachment. What muscle attachment? Troubleshoot. If you've got a big bump, you probably have a big muscle, right?
Biceps?
Biceps brachii. This is the insertion point, a primary insertion point of the biceps brachii. Now, radius and ulna come down here. You've also got an interosseous membrane, much like you had the tib fib. You had the interosseous. Listen, there's most that goes up in between those. You've got the same thing with these two. We have 4 articulations: humeral ulnar, humeral radial, proximal radial ulnar, proximal radial distal. Proximal distal radial ulnar joint. So the humerus with the ulna, the humerus with the radius, and the radius and the ulna together at the close end and at the far end.